morning, good afternoon. So, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, Captain Tobacco Street, fellow visionaries here, my dear friend, my loving I've been asked today to briefly talk about a few minutes the global talent research, where to its purpose and how UAE and Africa are building the future together. And after which we have a very good to also discuss this a little bit further. It's indeed a great honor to be here in this extraordinary to by a place that continues to redefine what is possible when vision, capital, and leadership come together with purpose. And I must thank Professor Tai Akhtar, the founder and chairman of Adam who invited me here, and for convening this conversation. I've known Professor Tai for close to 14 years now. He sits on the board of the International Advisory Board of the African Leadership Organization, and he has received the Distinguished Friend of Africa Award for 10 years. He is a true friend of Africa, and you see all through the conversation. You see the imprint of Adam Grove everywhere in what Africa does. Also, want to thank the CEO who has put together him and his team this fantastic session. As this topic is deeply, deeply personal. So, as founder and CEO of the African Leadership Organization, I've spent the past decade plus working with leaders from across the continent, presidents, ministers, entrepreneurs, and young change makers, building pathways for leadership, for enterprise, and for transformation. And for those years of experience, one truth has become clear. Capital without purpose is blind, and talent without opportunity is wasted potential. And I believe this forum gives us perfect opportunity to connect books where council finds its highest calling in the human potential, or what you call talent development. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're living through what can only be called a talent revolution. Technology, demographics, and mobility are rewriting the map of opportunity. The global north faces what is in depth informal panel an aging workforce and talent shortages. Meanwhile, in Africa, we call 1.4 billion people, 60% under the age of 25, the world's youngest, fastest growing workforce. We've got the UAE here leading in every industry when it comes to innovation. And this is not a challenge, it's a competitive advantage. This happens when technology, leadership, and culture come together to become a global game changer. So I'll call this a global talent reset. There is a reset out. Across the world, investors are searching for meaning beyond margins. Impact funds, sovereign funds, ESG portfolios are all converging on a single idea. Profit must now serve purpose. Business must go beyond just profits and margin. Profits must serve purpose. The UAE is leading this transformation, posting over $1.5 trillion in sovereign assets, most of which is now channeled into innovation, clean tech, and human capital development. Capital is moving, but it's looking for credible partners, reliable ecosystems, and regions that combine youth, innovation, and mobility. Stability. And elected where Africa and the UAE must form a natural alliance. I believe that this partnership it's already happening. Just last week, all the African played both India in Dubai. And in almost every conversation, like I was having with the gentleman, the topic of Africa is in every GCC conversation, and not just the GCC, all over the world. The African Continental Free Trade Agreement signifies $1.5 trillion by 2030, according to a recent MasterCard report. That's opportunity for partners in this battle. These numbers tell a story. And across the continent, digital inclusion has grown by about 150%, according to the World Bank 2024 report. Our digital economy in Africa is projected to reach 1.5 trillion again by 2030. Numbers tell the story, a good story, of our opportunity. But the people, our young innovators, our creatives, our entrepreneurs, our talents, tell another story. Story of resilience, the story of brilliance, and boundless potential. And that's what our African leadership and organization has been. We are the intersection of creating pathways for UAE Africa and indeed global Africa collaborations. So three key areas include this. One, true talent ecosystem. I think it's time for talent pathways. We want to see how African UAE innovation hubs and such pathways are. We want to see much more technology collaborations between the UAE and Africa. And then we want to see trust and shared prosperity where capital and trade flow in an environment of mutual trust. So, in conclusion, in this session, before we go to the panel, I believe that the global talent reset is not a theory, it's happening already. And the question before us is simple. Are we fairly going to be watching it as participants, or are we going to be architects of the new age Africa and indeed global African collaboration? Africa is not just the future. Africa represents not just its extractive opportunity, but Africa represents tremendous opportunity where both Africans, Emiratis, and global citizens can share a moral and strategic duty to ensure that capital its character and opportunity gets offers through talent development pathways. So that was I want to thank you briefly. We'll be going to the panel session shortly and we'll take this conversation to step. Thank you very much.